Problem 2, exercise 13.3 in your text, talks about the internal rate of return. And there's a couple of things here that we have to go through. We have to figure out what they're doing, figure out what the rate is, and for our purposes, I'm going to talk about this, but it really is a screwball thing to do. You'd have to be an Excel ninja to come up with the answer. So whatever answer you put in there for 4 will be correct. I'll show you what the right answer is, but it's a silly way to do it. Okay, this donut shop is investigating the purchase of a new $18,000 machine. Now this will allow them to cut back on their part-time help, which will save them $3,800 per year. That is basically a cash flow. You're not spending cash going out. It effectively has the same effect on the company as cash coming in. Additionally, the new machine would allow the company to produce a new style of donut. I have no idea what that could be. Resulting in the sale of 1,000 dozen more donuts. The company realizes a contribution margin of $1.20 per dozen. So they'll be getting an additional $1,200 from the new style donut. So that sounds like a pretty good idea. Donut. Sorry. Anyhow, what would the total cash inflows associated with the new machine be for capital budgeting purposes? Well, that's not so tough. The hard part was you had to realize that if you're not spending money, it's the same as receiving money. So the annual savings is $3,800 plus the additional $1,200 new contribution margin, another $1,200. So the annual cash inflows will be $5,000. Now remember, when you're looking for the factor, when you're doing the internal rate of return by hand, what you're doing is you're looking at the investment, and you divide by the annual cash inflows, and that gives you a factor, gives you a number. Now what I need you to see is a couple things. First of all, these are cash flows over a period of time. Therefore, these are annuities. So what do they tell us the useful life of this puppy is? 6 years. So this new machine has a 6-year useful life. Holy donut, that's a pretty good useful life. I'll bet they'll make some pretty good dough. Sorry, can't help myself. So let's take a look at that and see. When we do this, we take the 18,600 we divide that by 5,000, and we come up with 3.720. Now you get to dig out your old present value tables. There's some in your book, but there's also some just about anywhere you can find present value tables. The key is you have to remember that you're looking at an annuity. And what we do is we're looking for 3720 for 6 years. So we're coming along this 6-year line, the line right below the ruler. And as close as we get is 3685. So the approximate internal rate of return is 16%. So that's the internal rate of return, 16%. Now, is it exactly 16%? No. Is it close enough for government work? Yeah. Now, the next part, they tell you the cash flows will not be even over the 6-year life of the machine, because at the end, they can sell this machine for $9,125 in salvage value. What I want you to know is that's simply going to raise the internal rate of return. It's going to be greater than 16%. If you have Excel and you put in these cash flows, you'll find out that it comes out to be about 22%. I don't care about that. If you know that it's going to be greater than 16, and you know that it's going to be greater than 16 because there's a $9,000 salvage value, that's all you need to know as managers. Doing the internal rate of return with a sum or a series of staggered cash flows, that's for the finance guys. I need you to know that, so when you do your homework, when you get to that piece, you're going to have to just simply say that the answer is 22%. And you know it's going to be 22% because after all of those cash flows, you have a payback of $9,125 in salvage value.